y bienvenidos a la Daily Hustle. Soy Enrique Byrnes y presidente de su mejor cerveza. No abate por No Filter Network. Miguelito San Dieguito, not with us today, although he was with us, what was it, on Friday? Good to have him back. And Will the Thrill Clark, not with us this morning either, but he will be back tomorrow evening on Deuces Wild. Regardless, as you guys know, we come on here each and every single morning and we properly salute our boys. Yes, 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 yes. Woo! Remember this, folks? When we are juiceful, we are useful. And when we are juiceless, we are fucking useless. A very pleasant good morning to you on the 6th day of May, 2024. We got about 18 to 24 inches of snow here in the greater Lake Tahoe area over the weekend. You can't make this shit up. We've had some April storms before, but I don't ever recall getting this amount of snow this late in the year. It does not make any sense, but it actually does because it seems like winters are getting later and later, so they're starting later. We didn't get any significant snowfall at all this year until January. So yesterday, I ended up climbing the mountain and then ripped down on my Jones storm-chasing snowboard. One of the most exhilarating experiences I've had in a long time. Just to have the entire mountain to myself was fucking awesome. But what was really cool was that later in the day, I was playing pickleball. And Dennis Sokoline, who I was playing with, was playing in a direction in which he was looking back up towards the mountain. And in the middle of our game, he stops. And he goes, dude, is that you up there? I go, what are you talking about? On the mountain on Martis. I go, huh? And I turn around and you could see this perfect something right out of a Warren Miller movie. It was the tracks that I left going down the mountain yesterday. So I thought about going back up today. I have a feeling it's starting to warm up. It's going to probably be a bit stickier. So unless there's, I don't know, some other freak storm, that's probably it for the season. But it was fun to have. I posted the footage on Instagram if you want to check that out. Nobody likes my snowboarding videos, but what the fuck do I care? Remember this about social media. If you want to go chase the likes, like I know what to do. This isn't rocket science. I think you there's a couple different ways to approach it, right? If you're chasing likes, you go for very short videos in that 15, no longer than 30-second range. And even, as short as like 7, you have some quick hitters. I got one that I did. It was an alternative call of the guy dropping the glove, the guy then spin moving back, and they pick the guy off at second. It's like 2 on, 1 out, fuck. And then that was it. It does like 5 million views. And then I've had some other really, really good ones. Like I felt like there was a breakdown of Ellie De La Cruz I did over the weekend that has like 7,000 views, which obviously in the grand scheme of things is minuscule. Figuring I have 70,000 followers, that's that. But what hits the algorithms and what doesn't, and sometimes it's outside of our control, or basically in a lot of ways is outside of our control. I will tell you this, especially if you don't do this for a living. Now, I partially do this for a living because getting those numbers really matters, especially when we can have a big hit like we did last night with the motorboaters, which was a really good one, which is starting to go viral now, talking about Will Clark and I talking about the Missouri City motorboaters. But with that, then we have our steelhead sign actually up there, and the shirts have flown off the rack. He sold out completely of, I'm trying to think of what he calls it, but basically like Giants fishing type shirt with the guy swinging the fishing pole and everything else. I like to look at it as this because I'm going to have some that do well and I'm going to have some that don't on my personal account. And so with that, remember this. I don't want my personal account just looking like the No Filter account. Totally different. So I want some personal shit on there. So when I'm telling the story of it snowing on Cinco de fucking Mayo and me ripping down the mountain, I get to go back to that clip and show like, dude, check this out. This is like May 5th and this is happening. And so I always try to keep that sort of thing in mind. Like if the kids do something significant, whatever it is, it could be the girls with the horses, Colton with baseball, or obviously anything in the skiing stuff. Yeah, none of those are going to do great with the algorithms or throwing it in front of my audience who happens to be probably 90% baseball fans. But you know what it does do? It gives me the personal satisfaction of like, okay, this is my scrapbook. Let's go back and look at this. Let's go back and look at that. So anyhow, it's a little side tangent this morning that I had no intentions of talking about. But here we go. Our title sponsor is Bet Online, the number one online betting destination. Get all of your latest news, scores, odds, trends, and analysis at Bet Online. That is it. Bet Online. There used to be a promo code, capital BLEAV. So try the promo code. See if that gets you 50% off your first deposit. Bet Online, where the action starts and typically where it ends. This morning's Daily Hustle is brought to you by Let Them Play, a parenting and coaching guide to youth sports. We have not sold enough of these. We really haven't. This should be mandatory reading for all travel ball coaches and parents in America, according to John Seagal, the president of USA Baseball. So get on it now. Go to ericbyrnes.com, ERICBYRNES.com. You want to go to Amazon, get it there. Go to Amazon, get it there. But do yourself a favor and get the fucking book. Buenos dias. Today is Monday, May 6, 2024, and on this day in 1954, Sir Roger Bannister became the first person to break 4 minutes in a mile when he ran a 3:59.04 at Oxford University's Iffley Road track. Daily Hustle quote of the day, quote, doctors and scientists said breaking the 4-minute mile was impossible, that one would die in an attempt. Thus, when I got up from the track after collapsing at the finish line, I figured I was dead. Roger Bannister. Daily Hustle translation. During the 1950s, the 4-minute mile was considered the sport's greatest goal, and many professionals regarded as incredibly dangerous to one's health. Bannister, 25 years old at the time, a medical student at Oxford, was arguably the best middle distance runner in the world, but was coming off a disappointing 4th place at the 1952 Olympics. At that point, a frustrated Bannister set a new goal of chasing the holy grail of athletics, and this time would not be denied. Bannister finished the first 2 laps in 1 minute and 58 seconds, which was a pace he feared might have been too slow. Yet, his patience paid off because when he got to the final straightaway and the last lap, it was as if he got shot out of a gosh damn cannon and blew the field away. Bannister later said, the earth seemed to move with me. I found a new source of power and beauty, a source I never knew existed. Ironically, just a month later, Australian John Landy ran a 3:57, and then over the course of the next 3 years, 15 different runners would go on to break the 4-minute barrier. Simply put, Bannister, who passed away at age 80 in 2018, forever changed what was considered physically possible. But most importantly, he unshackled universal limitations on the human mind and opened an entirely new arena of human possibilities that still greatly influences breakthrough progressions and performances in the world today. Sir Roger, the Daily Hustle community thanks you for your lung-busting, mind-rolling, eternally impacting, next-level, full fucking send effort. Raj, eBay, P.S. Click link below to pick up a copy of the future best-selling Let Them Play. I say future best-selling. It should be best-selling right now. It's bullshit. Let Them Play a parenting coaching guide to sports book and click blue link to join today's award-winning live Daily Hustle video podcast on nofilter.net. Okay, let's hit the top stories here. I got 10 of them. Let's see from a timing perspective how easy it is to rip through all 10. Number one here, the cell phone ban. This is interesting. This is a Washington Post article. How a Connecticut middle school won the battle against cell phones. When Raymond Dolphin became an assistant principal of a middle school in Connecticut 2 years ago, it was clear to him that the kids were not all right. The problem was cell phones. Students were using the devices in class despite a rule against it. Social media was exasperating nearly every conflict among students. When Dolphin walked the hallways or surveyed the cafeteria, he invariably saw heads bent over screens. So, in December, Dolphin did something unusual. He banned cell phones altogether. The experiment at Illing Middle School sparked objections from students and some parents, but it has already generated profound and unexpected results. Dolphin likened prohibiting cell phones to curbing consumption of sugary foods. Quote, in a matter of months, you start feeling better. What unfolded at the school reflects a broader struggle underway in education as some administrators turn to increasingly drastic measures to limit the reach of technology that is both ambiguous and endlessly distracting. Scores of schools across the country now, from California to Indiana to Pennsylvania, have taken similar steps to remove cell phones altogether rather than rely on rules around their use. Those decisions come amid rising bipartisan alarm over the way cell phone and social media may be harming children, concerns that have led to warnings from the U.S. Surgeon General and Health Commissioner of New York City. About a third of U.S. teens report they use a social media site, quote, almost constantly. Okay, so this is an issue, and we know that. If you have kids, if you're a parent yourself, if you use a cell phone yourself, you know the addictive nature of cell phones. But what can we do as parents, teachers, administrators, coaches about this? You get fucking rid of them. That's it. You come to school, you turn your cell phone in, and you get it when you leave school. So after school, if you want to go and stick your phone in your face, fine. But as far as I'm concerned, no. If anything, what you would do is, I guess, create maybe a cell phone area where you can go in and use it if there's a message that you need to send home for some reason. But even back in the day, if I had to call home, I'd go to the principal's office and say, hey, is there a way I could call my mom? I forgot my baseball glove for practice that I have immediately after school. I need to bring it down. Sure, no problem, Eric. We got you. Right? That was it. You don't realize how great life was before cell phones. And the problem is this, is that as we immerse ourselves in these phones, it takes all of our attention away from everything else that's going on around us. So if, say, for example, you're sitting at lunch and you have that option to pull out your phone and scroll TikTok or take a snap, you're missing the moment in front of you. And that's the problem, I think, with Snap. And that's the drug of choice, basically, now for all the kids. I have a really good friend that worked at Snap. And she basically said that she felt like she was selling crack to kids. And she's right. She was selling something that was that addictive. She ended up getting out of the space, and I don't blame her. So, look, this is a fight, and it's going to be. But if you think about it, it's kind of like alcohol, or I say tobacco, but especially alcohol or gambling. It's if you do it in moderation and you do it responsibly, it can be fine and it's not going to harm you. But if you overindulge in it, it's going to fuck you up. Mental illnesses are going to grow from it. You're going to isolate yourself. You're going to feel lonely. It's not good. Human beings were meant to have physical interactions and conversations. It's really important. Even when I had Kowalski on the other day, I got done with that show and I felt more fulfilled than when I come on here and talk to my fucking self each morning. Serious. Now, don't get me wrong. I like talking to myself. Kind of a sicko like that. But I also, when I'm talking to myself, I'm picturing all the people viewing and watching and maybe interacting or hopefully laughing every now and again. So, look, the cell phones are a problem. I would encourage you as a parent, if you're a parent, if you're a kid, just be responsible with it. Be responsible. Know when to put it away. If you're going to baseball practice, put the fucking phone away. If you're going to school, put it away. But guess what? When you get out of school and you have a 30-minute period before mom or dad picks you up or whatever it is, and you want to pull the phone out and, I don't know, snap something or maybe roll a scroll through TikTok or IG, go for it. I think there's some shit on there that's actually pretty educational. It's funny. I was thinking about that yesterday because I was scrolling on Instagram, and I've done a good job of creating an algorithm within my Instagram that shows me baseball, all kinds of motivational shit, pickleball, and the occasional hot chick. That's it. That's what I get. And sometimes they're all kind of combined. But that's good. Because I go through this, I'm like, man, it's enhancing my life. Like seeing this pickleball point, and there are these tips that this one guy's, teaching me. And then you have the motivational stuff where it's like, man, I'm going to use this audio and put it behind this and, whatever. And so obviously the baseball stuff is huge. I mean, that's where we get a lot of our content, where I'll see it on social media first. And then once it's on social media, it's fair game. Anyone can use it. Now, I did read something about how they're going to take those people who repurpose content Instagram say they will not drive people to second, third, fourth, fifth, 150th, 200th times putting that content up. So they'll drive it to the what do you call it? The first creators. And it makes sense. Now they're saying if you enhance what it is, which I like to think that we at No Filter enhance whatever we do with any of the content, then there is a chance that they will continue to push it out. But still, I have noticed, like we've seen a couple recently just posted just nothing. They'll do nothing. If it's not put out in front of anybody, the only way anyone will ever find is if they happen to just go to your page and start scrolling down your shit. So anyway, all right. Here we go. The other big story before I get into all the baseball stuff that I wanted to get into. A fisherman hooks a prehistoric 200-pound alligator snapping turtle before catching a monster alligator gar. A Kentucky angler has found himself back in Texas to reel in some massive monsters. Art Weston and world record fisherman returned to Sam Rayburn Lake in hope of setting another international game and fishing association record. Last year, with the help of professional fishing guide Captain Kirkland, Weston set the all-tackle world record after reeling in a 293-pound alligator gar on a 6-pound line, as Fox News Digital reported. Ready to find another beast, the duo ended up reeling in something truly unexpected. Weston and Kirkland came close on 3 different occasions to catching another world record size alligator gar, but couldn't hold on after spending nearly an hour and a half battling with one of these bad boys. Weston told Fox Digital, the massive fish pulled the two into the stumpy area of Sam Rayburn Lake, which ended up being a perfect spot to fight off another monster. The only consolation was a very unusual and unplanned catch, a 200-plus pound alligator snapping turtle. And here it is. What the fuck is that? Holy shit, man. I mean, this is a dinosaur meets Fat Albert. Like, I just don't know. This is one of the gnarliest looking creatures I certainly have ever seen in my life. Let's see here. It says, when the turtle took the bait, Kirk had a good idea it was a turtle based on the way it was fighting. And he was right. It came to the surface quickly. What we didn't expect was how big it was going to be. Dude, look at these paws, man. I mean, what are these things? Oh, it's just so gross. It really is. The two men had to be careful to protect themselves and make sure the reptile was safely placed back into the water. So they kept this thing alive. I mean, it looks like it's 150 years old. Quote, we had to remove the hook from the foot, and the reptile's bite can remove fingers. No shit. So you have to be extra careful with them. They also have to be released unharmed since they are a protected species. I get it, but who's protecting this thing? I mean, it's part man, isn't it? Part turtle, part man, part dinosaur. Regardless, it's fucking creepy. It is really, really scary. I mean, these are the type of monsters that you would dream about when you were a kid, but you never really could paint the picture of what that monster looked like. You just knew it was a big fucking scary monster, and you try to tell your parents about it. Well, guess what? Now you have an actual picture of what that fucking monster looks like. I mean, this thing is just, ugh. Anyhow, onward and upward from there. Let's get into some baseball. The sausage party of the Minnesota Twins ends. That's right. We're going to hit some scores from yesterday. And after winning 12 consecutive games, the Minnesota Twins went down 9-2 to the Boston Red Sox yesterday. It was the Pittsburgh Pirates at home, 5-3 winners over Colorado. Washington 11-8 over Toronto. The Yankees beat Detroit 5-2. Aaron Judge, a day after getting thrown out of the game, goes Oppo Taco. And you got to believe really wanted to flip off the third base umpire after yesterday's bullshit ejection. So he ends up getting into the swing of things, and the Yankees back into the win column. The Cleveland Guardians 4-1 over the Angels yesterday. They stay hot. They're 22-12. Angels 12-22. And Mike Trout's hurt again. Tampa 7-6 winners over the New York Mets. It was Houston going down to Seattle 5-4. Houston just 12-22. Texas wins again. They're now 3 games above 500. They beat Kansas City 3-2. Kansas City's 20-15, by the way. The White Sox beat the St. Louis Cardinals. Cardinals are struggling. And the White Sox obviously are not a very good baseball team, but they go into St. Louis. It's the second victory in a row. The Chicago Cubs 5-0 over the Brewers. I think it was the first time the Brewers have been shut out all season, maybe the second. Brewers 20-13. Cubs now 21-14. The Miami Marlins 12-3 victors over the Oakland A's a day after getting fucking throttled by the A's 20-4. The Baltimore Orioles 11-1 over Cincinnati. They sweep that series. It was Arizona 11-4 over the San Diego Padres. Luis Ariz 4 hits in his Padres debut. That happened on Saturday. I mean, it's just, if this doesn't look like Tony Gwynn reincarnated, I don't know who does. At least the closest thing to him that we've seen. 5-1 LA Dodgers. They sweep the Braves. And then last night, it was Bryce Harper with a big 3-run homer, helping the Phillies take down the San Francisco Giants 5-4. All right, the sausage party that the Twins had going on. A lot of people have been asking me about it. Look, I've done some digging to try to figure out exactly what it was. So here's the story. It says the Twins aren't quite unprecedented territory yet with the winning streak. There was a 12, but they're in pretty darn good company now. It was 33 years since the Twins last had a 12-game winning streak. And coincidentally, it also been 33 years since the team had won a World Series following the methodical 3-1 over the Red Sox at Target Field on Saturday. The run of success is officially tied for the second longest streak in club history. And at that point, the only Twins team to have won more consecutive games is that legendary 1991 squad, which won 15 consecutive games in June to spark their surge to glory. Quote, any chance you have to win 12 in a row, it's pretty special, Carlos Correa said. It's rare. You just have to have fun with it and find things that unite the team. It makes us feel more like a family. The 91 team started 23-25, and we're in 5th place in the AL West before riding the 15-game streak all the way to the top of the standings, and they never again relinquished first place. These 2024 Twins haven't quite gotten that far. This is crazy, as they're still only in 3rd place amid a surprisingly strong AL Central field, but the streak was special. All right. I mean, they're talking about hitting speed pitching. Where's the sausage party? I mean, this is not the article I was looking for. Really wasn't. I was looking for the sausage, how the sausage was made. So basically, I'll just give you my version of it. The hitting coach, I got to get the article to support it, but basically, essentially, their hitting coach, someone had been given a sausage as like part of a care package. And the hitting coach took the sausage out to the dugout. And then they would rub the sausage. The hitters would rub the sausage before going to the plate. The first time this happened, they had like 3 guys go ding dong donkey kong. So from there, the sausage became a kind of thing. Now, whether the sausage was edible, they were concerned about maybe the package leaking, the sausage juices coming out. I don't know. Whatever. It is fun to see the Twins and just big leaders have fun with the type of shit we do and to let them play dugout. Shohei Ohtani, a 464-foot homer, caps a 4-hit day as the Dodgers laid down the fucking hammer on the Atlanta Braves, claiming their stake as the best team in the National League right now. Shohei Ohtani went 464. I mean, my goodness. 464, 4 hits. Now, this is bringing up a really good question, because I created this video on Ellie De La Cruz over the weekend, and I was claiming that he could be, I didn't say he is, he could be the best player in baseball right now. The first few guys that I thought about, if it was not or is not Ellie De La Cruz, Mookie Betts at the very top of the list, and then Shohei Ohtani. But the fact that Ohtani is not playing a position and he is not pitching at this moment, it just means he's got to be so special from an offensive standpoint. Well, pretty much he has been. He's been on absolute fucking fire. And the fact that he's doing all of this in the midst of just a really weird start to a new career with the Dodgers, with Ippei, his interpreter, getting fired, the fact that he had nearly $16 million stolen from him. People still, a lot of people are like, man, I don't believe it. There's got to be something that Shohei did or he had to have known about it. Look, I don't know. But it says here with his 4-for-4 performance on Sunday, he is now 11 for 21 with 3 homers during his current 5-game hitting streak. He also became the first Dodger player since 1901 to record 25 extra base hits in his first 35 games with the organization. Quote, this is Ohtani through his interpreter, Will Iraton. I just feel like we're overall playing really well. So that's really helping me have quality at bats and just feeling good overall. Now with Ohtani in the fold, there aren't many regular season series that will hold significant meaning for the Dodgers. The reality is the Dodgers season will ultimately be declared a success or failure based on what happens in October. The club has made it clear that it's championship or bust. Here's the problem with that, is that even with the Dodgers being the favorite to win the World Series, they're still like plus 450. The number's big. They're underdogs. They're massive underdogs to win a World Series championship. That's what the fan base needs to realize. I know that's what the LA brass realizes. They do. Your job is to put together the best team for 162 games, and then your job, as you get towards the postseason, is to figure out how to win the fucking sprint. That's it. Now, it's a lot easier said than done, but they have put together the best team in baseball, at least arguably, over the course of 162. And they've done it for a number of years now. The question is, how are they going to win the sprint? They got the pieces. They certainly have the pieces. One of the best lineups, if not the best lineup in all of baseball. And then you back that up with depth in the rotation that is just next level. So the Dodgers certainly have been hot. I'll tell you who else has been hot. The Oakland A's. They've been on fucking fire. They got to 500 with a 20-4 win over the Marlins on Saturday at the Coliseum. They ended up dropping their game on Sunday, so they're 1 game below 500 now. But if this is not making you think back to what should have been an Academy Award-winning movie, Major League, I don't know what real-life story would. Here is a team where you have the owner that can't leave town soon enough. He slashes payroll to basically fucking nothing. They had a bigger payroll. I think it was back in 2005. So we're going back like 19 years, and they had a bigger payroll. And yet here they are competing with a bunch of either homegrown guys or some castaways. But if you look at the lineup that David Forrest has put together, as I was going through it the other day, he's got some dudes in there. He's got some guys that were former first-round picks. And a lot of, I think there was like 4 first-rounders in the lineup the other day. J.J. Bleday ended up having a big day. Brent Rooker, dude's got over a 900 OPS, setting absolute fucking bombs. Esteury Ruiz at the top of the lineup. I mean, this is the guy that got sent down earlier for who knows what reason, but he's back at the top now. And there's a lot of things to like. I mean, you go back, and I'm going to look at the box score on Saturday. And as I was, again, like I said, going through these guys, I'm like, man, they kind of have a good team. Like they're legit. So if I could figure out how to run this thing, I mean, one of these days, it's just, why can't it be self-explanatory? Seriously? I mean, game day, you hit it. Oh, here we go. Box. Esteury Ruiz led off. This is the day they scored 20 runs. 1 for 3 with a run scored and RBI. Then you had Tyler Nevin. Again, another first-round draft pick, somewhat of a castaway, but they traded for Nevin. He's hitting 302 with an 843 OPS. You got Toro hitting behind him. He was 2 for 5 with 3 runs, a couple runs driven. Brent Rooker was 3 for 4 with 5 RBIs. Then you got J.D. Davis, the guy the Giants didn't want, 2 for 4. You had Shea Langoliers. This guy had a big day, 3 for 5 at 3 RBIs. I mean, it just kept going. Let's see how many guys had 2 or 3 hits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys had multiple hits. 7 guys. Then you get down to JJ Bleday, 3 hits, 4 RBIs, all of it. So, look, I'm going to do something more on this group. I actually had planned on writing a whole daily hustle on it potentially for tomorrow when I get done with this. I'm going to go hit the treadmill. Brett Harris, another guy, the kid from Gonzaga. I just want to take a look at it. I want to dig in a little bit deeper to what's going on with the Oakland A's and why they're having the success. But one of the first things that I noticed as I was going through there, like they had some dudes, like some legitimate dudes. And it doesn't surprise me. And if you think about why the Cleveland Indians had success in the movie Major League, besides the fact that it was Hollywood, of course they were going to fucking have success. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been a movie. But it was their GM. I think his name is Charlie. But it was Charlie who hand-pieced this team together. So let's step back for a minute and give David Forrest some credit, because he obviously has pieced this thing together with very limited resources, and now he is out there on track, and they're going to fight all year, I believe, to stay at 500. They are going to do it. The pitching staff looks good. Their closer's fucking lights out. So this is a team that, believe it or not, has a chance to make the playoffs. How about that? They legit, so long as you stay around 500, the American League might be a little more difficult. Obviously, the Central's been really good, but the West is strong, and then you have the AL East, which is the creme de la creme when it comes to teams that I think every team in the East last year was above 500. But the A's are certainly a story to follow as we keep going. Okay, CB Buckner is at it again. I turned on No Filter the other day. Ian Miller was on with Cameron Maben, and Maben had a very valid point when he said a lot of people give Angel Hernandez shit, but in Maben's opinion, CB Buckner was the fucking worst. And then, like Maven said, Buckner will ring you up on a horrific strike 3 call, and then you can turn around and scream at him, and he's just got that nice little smirk on his face, and he's totally unfazed. So he was doing CB Buckner things once again during the St. Louis Cardinals and White Sox extra inning affair that had a 3-hour delay. Oh, good golly. I saw this game. There was 2 outs in the 9th inning with St. Louis up. They were down 1. There's an 0-1 count. And CB Buckner called time. They go into a 3-hour fucking delay. No way. I don't know if I'm St. Louis, if I'm Chicago, I'm like, fuck that. We're playing. Get through it. There's one more hitter. Now, if we tie it up and then you guys get the 3rd out, okay, now we go 3-hour delay. Other than that, hell no. You're finishing it right there. At the very least, you're finishing that batter. Well, they go into the delay. They come back out of the delay. 3 hours later, mind you. And what happens? CB Buckner goes ahead and rings up the poor St. Louis Cardinal hitter on a ball that looked like it was a foot outside. Just awful. It says the reaction of the Cardinals TV announcer. You've got to be kidding me. After all of that, he's going to call a pitch that far off the plate. Cardinals manager Oliver Marmol discussed the call after the game. He did not name Buckner, but referred to the awful call. He said, you wait 3 hours and you want it to be determined between the pitcher and the hitter. That wasn't the case, Marmol said. Buckner's call was just the latest of a controversy for him. In less than a week, he was ripped for a strike 3 call on the Baltimore Orioles young star Gunnar Henderson when the New York Yankees pitcher Nestor Cortez clearly threw a low pitch. MLB umpires have drawn the ire of players and fans alike since the start of the season. And while it's a hard job, calls like this from Buckner, especially in critical situations of the game, are not what teams want to see. You guys are bringing it upon yourselves. Why? It's very simple. You have an automated strike zone that everybody around the world gets to witness, except for the person that needs to make the fucking call. Just idiotic at this point. It's sad. And Buckner's just doing his job. I mean, it was off, and I could sit here and rip him. There was a clip I saw online that was an old Bobby Cox ejection in which he was arguing a ball that was thrown off the plate. Now, this literally was a foot off the plate. And the catcher didn't move, though. And that was a sign of that if the catcher didn't move, the manager always felt that the catcher was going to get the call. That's why Maddox, Glavine, and Smoltz were so good. It really is. I would say less Smoltz and more Maddox and Glavine because they used command to go ahead and get the advantage on the hitter. So they would start a ball, say if Maddox was throwing to a right-hand hitter, way off the plate on the outside, and then have it come back off the corner to, I don't know, maybe 6 inches off outside, and the catcher would stick it, and they ring it up. The most egregious call I know I ever had against me, I believe, was a strikeout against Greg Maddux, where he threw one so fucking far outside, and it was one of those ones where, like, a two-seamer away, I just gave up on it. I'm like, no chance. And then the umpire rings me up. After that, for the rest of my career against Greg Maddux, I said, I'm going to take my dick and I'm going to put it on the plate. And if he jams the shit out of me, I don't care. Maybe I hit a number to the third baseman, and I end up beating it out for a base hit. So I actually went on to hit Greg Maddux pretty well. Now, why is the question, right? Here's this career 258 hitter that hit 4-something against Greg Maddux. It's pretty simple. I liked balls that would come into me, right? Anything coming in. And so he threw his two-seamer a lot. So when that two-seamer would run in, whack. Ended up busting his ass, actually. I believe it was in Arizona when he was pitching for the Padres at the end of his career, and I was playing for the Diamondbacks. But CB Buckner, if this is what you guys want, it's what you want. That's what you got. All right. Giancarlo Stanton catching some grief from a radio host here. It says, time to move on. Yankees veteran is not a baseball player. A thinner Giancarlo Stanton can still hit the ball hard. The jury is still out on his durability, but his new physique has done little to improve his athleticism and speed. The New York Yankees 2-0 loss to the Orioles on Tuesday night provided yet another example when he was thrown out at second base after Austin Wells hit a ball to right field that fell in, even though Stanton had to freeze to ensure the ball was not caught. The out robbed Wells of a hit and the Yankees of a 2-on-1-out threat with the Orioles leading 1-0. The play provided more fodder for WFAN's Sal Lakota to rip Stanton for hurting the Yankees again. Quote, he's just not a ball player. They got to move on from Stanton. Stanton is a major problem. He can't do anything. He's a liability. He's going to run into some fastballs and hit some home runs sometimes. Great. The Yankees don't need that. They need a ball player. They need some flexibility at that position. He's on the base pass. He's a liability. He can't play a position. And he clogs up the DH spot. He's a liability. Okay. It says, to be fair, Stanton has remained healthy and productive, at least compared to 2023. 26 games in 104 plate appearances. He has a 240, 298, 479 slash line, 6 home runs, 16 RBIs. That's a 120 OPS plus. His walk rate is down 7.7%, strikeout rate up 30%. And his speed is, well, that's not doing the word justice. His sprint speed per StatCast ranks in the 6th percentile, which is a 2% improvement over last year. That is an issue. It's one thing if you want to bash him about how he runs the bases, but you're in the 6th percentile. I just have a hard time believing that a former USC wide receiver recruit, and that's what he was. He was going to play for the Trojans. He was going to play wide receiver or tight end. He should not be in the bottom of 6th percentile. I saw him running from second to home, and it looked like he literally was fucking jogging. And this was like game on the line, had to score the run. My immediate thought is certainly something is wrong with him. Either he has chronic pain, or for whatever reason, he just can't run fast. He's specifically hurt, pulled his hamstring, whatever. I don't know. But it makes no sense that he would be that dog shit running the bases. Having instinct, having feel, becoming quote-unquote a ball player, you have to take pride in that too. You have to. I mean, look at Barry Bonds early in his career as a ball player. Later in his career, he wasn't moving very well, and he's just a slugger. That's fine if you're hitting 50 a year, but yeah, I don't know. Yankees manager Eric Byrnes said during spring training that he expected Stanton to be more healthy and more athletic, being more of a presence on the base pass, more of a realistic option in the field. A month into the season, Stanton has checked off one of those boxes, but the athleticism and base running skills are likely long gone. That's not good. Like, base running is so fucking critical. I got to believe this is something you can work on, right? Something you can go out and, like, I team out for early base running. You have to. I mean, especially with WAR and all these other statistics, now you can measure this shit. You really can. You take extra bases, whether you're taking extra bases, whether you're not, the outs you're giving up on the bases, all of it matters. Okay, so last night, Bryce Harper was at it again. It says here, Bryce Harper plays showman on Sunday Night Baseball with a 3-run homer to earn the Phillies their 5th straight win. 6 weeks into the season, ESPN brought its National Baseball Showcase to Philadelphia, and, well, what did you expect? Sunday Night Bryce Ball, naturally. Bryce Harper is off to an uneven start by his standards, but teammates don't call him, quote, the showman for no reason. On cue, he smashed a 3-run ding-dong Donkey Kong against Giants ace Logan Webb to help the Phillies beat the San Francisco Giants 5-4 in front of 41,058 paying customers at Citizen Bank Park, as well as in front of a national TV audience. Here's a quote here. I think we had a pretty good game plan for Webb, Harper said after the Phillies' 5th consecutive victory and 16th in 19 games. They are hot. Wow. They could stake claim as being the best team in the National League right now. He's really good out there trying to keep the ball down and getting ground balls. Collectively, as an offense, we just had a really good plan against him. After months of stressing the importance of starting more quickly, the Phillies are in a full-out sprint. At 24-11, they have the best record of baseball, 2.5 games ahead of the rival Braves in the National League East. It's the Phillies' best 35-game start since 1995. 1 game better than the 102-win 2011 club. For the second time in less than a week, they won despite striking out 17 times in a game. They won even though Taijuan Walker allowed a homer for the second start in a row after manager Rob Thompson stuck with him into the seventh inning. They're on a pace right now to win 111 games, and Bryce Harper isn't even rolling yet. Look, Bryce is a man. He's been a superstar since he was fucking 12. They have a little footage of him pitching in, well, I don't think it was a Little League World Series. Maybe it was. It was some kind of regional game or whatever. He was a 12-year-old, though. And he was throwing 78 miles per hour on the mound. It looked like it was 110. The guy then went to high school, right, early, and then like reclasses up. You have all these kids in travel ball now that are reclassing down. Well, Bryce Harper is like, why am I going to stay even with my own age group? This is too easy. So he had to go enroll in junior college. And at Southern Nevada Junior College, I believe, he ends up fucking swinging a wood bat and breaking all sorts of records. Becomes the first pick of the draft, and then we all know the story. A year or two later, he is in the big leagues with the Washington Nationals, and at times has been the best player in baseball, no doubt. What motivates a guy like this, though, on a daily basis, I think becomes a question, because when you're that good and you've had a spotlight on you for that long, it's only human to maybe not have that ultra-focused A-plus effort all the time. And you can really see it with Bryce. He is so fucking good when the spotlight is on. He is literally the showman. And so last night, he knew it. Here it is. We're on Broadway, baby. In front of millions. And he ends up going bridge and helping the Phillies win that game. So Bryce Harper, just a specimen. I mean, somebody that is so incredibly gifted. I think he's going to go down. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. But he'll go down sort of in that Mr. October category, where what do you remember about Bryce Harper? It's all, in a lot of ways, it's the exact opposite of Mike Trout, because what you most likely will remember about Bryce Harper going forward are these big fucking moments like Kirk Gibson had, right? Well, Trout, we're not going to remember big moments. We remember individual highlight plays and awesome swings that he took during the regular season. I mean, the guy's been in the postseason once. I'm not blaming on Trout. It's not Trout's fault. Trout can't do anything. Everyone says, oh, Trout's fault. Fuck that. It's not his fault. It's not. Just they have not built a winning culture in Anaheim. Haven't done it. And I understand about culture. It's just winning players. You can have the greatest culture in the world like they do with Ron Washington right now. You're not going to win fucking games if you don't have the horses. They don't have the horses. Simply do not have the horses. And by the way, speaking of horses, Mystic Dave, the winner of the Kentucky Derby, Giuseppe Pepe Manueli and I went all in on Sierra Leone. And it was a photo finish at the end where Mystic Dave, I believe, edged out Sierra Leone by just a nose. So the Kentucky Derby had the whole family there watching. It's exciting. It's exciting. Callie does not appreciate how they treat the horses. She doesn't like the fact that they whip the horses. So she did not partake in the watching. So that's actually not true. But Chloe watched it. Biscuit watched it. My wife loves it. It's kind of her thing. And Sierra Leone, our horse that didn't quite pull it off, but had a hell of an effort. All right, that's it. Back at you, Daily Hustle. Tomorrow, let's take a look at the So we got playing today. We have San Francisco at Philly again, Detroit at Cleveland, Anaheim at Pittsburgh. You got the White Sox at Tampa, Milwaukee at Kansas City, San Diego is in Chicago at the Cubbies. Seattle is at Minnesota. See if Minnesota can start another win streak. The Mets got swept in Tampa, so they're going to St. Louis. A couple of struggling teams. Someone's got to win. The A's are at home against Texas. That'll be a good test for them. Mark Kotze and the Athletics playing really good baseball right now. And then the Miami Marlins are going to Los Angeles. It's Walker Buehler against Rod Munoz. Interesting to see what this line is going to be. And then lastly here, just because, I don't know, I just kind of feel like making it happen again. Let's take a look at the weather across the country, spanning the globe. Here we go. Auburn, California, home of the Montgomerys. Griffins, Riegers, 55 degrees, high at 64. Duluth, Minnesota, Gene, 56 degrees, high of 57, low of 42. This is a personal weather report you'll get nowhere else here, but No Filter Network. Chattanooga, Tennessee, Amo, 77 degrees, high of 82. You got thunder showers coming tomorrow. Gary Tagliafico, long live the Peninsula Mets, 58 degrees in San Mateo, high of 64. Las Vegas, Nevada, our guy Michael out there, 79 and sunny today. Savannah, Georgia, land of the Platanos. Bananas are on the West Coast, though. They were in Fresno. Their next stop, I believe, is Sacramento. You got to check the schedule. 82 degrees, high of 83 in Savannah. It's cloudy. Speaking of Fresno, high is 73 for the Batoyan brothers out there. You got Bakersfield, Buckwheat, 61 degrees right now, high is 74. So gorgeous day in the Central Valley. Stephen Luker, Hemet, California, 61 degrees, high of 76, low of 42. John Emmanuel Ramos Henderson, we are international once again, motherfuckers. 83 degrees, high of 98. Jeez. A little toasty out there in Makati City. Duncan Dad in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, 67 degrees, high of 72 and cloudy. Montgomery, Alabama, home of the Biscuits, 86 degrees, high of 88, low of 67. Germantown, Tennessee, Jesse Byrnes, my brother from another mother. Here you go, dude. 64 degrees, high of 67. Looks like a beautiful day out there in Germantown. Orchard Park, home of the Buffalo Bills, and Pat O'Connell, 66 degrees, high of 67, and cloudy. South Haven, Mississippi, home of PGI this year, 66 degrees, high of 68, low of 46. Rain coming tomorrow. Boise, Idaho, RJ, 50 degrees, high of 57 and cloudy. Truckee, California, that's right here, 44 degrees, high of 50, low of 23. It's going to slowly increase and be 68 by the weekend and getting into the 70s for next week. In Lucas, Texas, home of Paul Bart out there in Grapeford, actually. 78 degrees, high of 84, and it looks like it is going to be windy today. I'm Stormy Burns, and that was your personalized No Filter Network weather report. All right. Everyone have a great day. Back at you tomorrow with the Deuces Wild Daily Hustle, and then Deuces Wild with Will the Thrill tomorrow evening.